Brilliance Audio presents the unabridged recording of Look Both Ways by Jacquelyn Mitchard, performed by Emily Durante. For Pamela English, What Hearts Your Heart Has Touched. Once more into the dream. Great-Grandpa Walker, 92 years old, always picked the darkest night to tell the stories. He rested his chin on the tent poles of his long fingers and said, "These hills have seen strange sights, you know." Even the twins, teenagers Mallory and Meredith, the oldest of the Brynn grandchildren and technically past the days of campfire stories, couldn't help but shiver. As their father or Uncle Kevin piled the night's last dry logs onto the coals, the littlest cousins sat on their parents' laps, and the older ones huddled in the blankets from the family cabins, blankets that would have felt stiff and scratchy at home, but were somehow comforting up at the camp on Crying Woman Ridge. The fire painted Grandpa's strong, thin face with weird streaks of color as he painted word pictures of his own grandfather, Ellery, toiling up Canada Road with his wife and 2 children, his cooking pots and wooden roof shingles on the backs of 5 Welsh ponies. Before that, they'd sailed to New York in a packet boat off the wild coast of Wales, determined to scrape a living from the rich veins of copper beneath this rough land. They were Welsh miners, used to deprivation and harsh conditions, and so they prospered. Ellery Brynn's first home was the many times updated cabin that still stood in the middle of the cabin camp, a house only a few hundred feet from the mine shaft he helped to build. But with his son and grandson, he helped found Ridgeline, the little town in the valley. There, he built 5 of the big brick 4-square houses on Pilgrim Road, and a Brynn son or daughter once lived in every one. Now, only Meredith and Mallory's father, Tim, and his family lived in the house where Tim had grown up. 3 of the other houses had been torn down, and one housed the town library. Still, their family's place in the town's past wasn't just a story, it was history. But the tales Grandpa Walker told weren't written down in historical pamphlets or old documents. They were ancient and strange. Long before carjackers or thieves who picked your pockets clean, as Grandpa Walker put it, there were good reasons for children to nip up their heels and head home before dark. Black bears and mountain lions roamed the trails in these provinces just below Canada. 3 times a child had come up missing. His grandfather's best friend was called Oberlin Bent Tree, a Cree Indian, and Oberlin's French wife, Regine, swore that one of those children was adopted by the lions, that she ran wild, brown and agile as the cubs, her long, long dark hair streaming. On cold spring moonlit nights, children would wake and rush through the partitions of cotton wool that served as walls to leap into their parents' beds when the mountain lions howled for their mates. It was a sound that seemed to pass through the walls of the sturdy log houses, so nearly human, but also unearthly that Grandpa Walker said language couldn't quite describe it. And sometimes, or so Regine told the children, there was another sound too, a soft, musical voice that sang in time with the lion's chorus. Legend said, too, that once a white panther came to steal a settler's horse and rode away sitting upward on its back like a man. Grandpa Walker's stories were written on the children's oldest memories. If they felt real, it was because they were as much a part of being a Brynn as were gray eyes and freckles. That was why, when Mallory Brynn saw the white lion, she never doubted that it was real. It was walking in long, languid strides down the halls of Mallory's school, but even the sight of a wild creature in school didn't make Mallory doubt that she was seeing something real. The animal was beautiful, a living snow statue, muscles bulging and rippling under a stainless, soft pelt. It was beautiful except for the fact that the eyes in its great triangular head were somehow human. The lion